holiday season is upon us, and we've got an early treat with non-conference basketball as the FIU Panthers pay a visit to the Kennesaw State Owls. A pleasant Saturday to you. Nolan Alexander joined by Terrence Hill. And Terrence, you've got a red-hot team, FIU, winners of 3 straight against a hungry Kennesaw State squad, 0-7 on the year, looking for its first win.
Yeah, you're looking for your first win, and it's tough to be in this spot of 0-7. But on your home court, you always have that possibility. So here today, they're looking to get that first win, that much-needed first win.
And let's take a look at our impact players for KSU. It starts with the youngster, the freshman, Terrell Burden.
And I would say we start with Terrell Burden. And this is a guy that's leading the Owls in 2 categories, scoring and assists. But one stat that you don't necessarily see all the time is the primary ball handler. And why is this important? Because he free up other guards like Hooker, like a Lewis, and like Lockley, and he allows them to apply pressure. So here tonight, he's going to be the primary ball handler.
And for FIU, it's the redshirt senior, the big man, Devon Andrews, preseason All-Conference USA.
Preseason All-Conference, and what that means is I'm averaging 16.2 points a game. And in warm-ups, I noticed that he had the pre-wrapper in his left hand. I highly doubt that this is going to impact his high efficiency of 50% from the field. He's going to be high octane tonight, and that's what they're going to need for FIU.
All right, Terrence, give me your best DJ Khaled. What are your keys today?
So my keys today is going to be for FIU is looking to trap on defense. The past 4 or 5 games, all opponents against Kennesaw State, they found themselves full court trapping. They noticed that Kennesaw is a team that's prone to turn the ball over. So look for them to trap on defense and also second chance points. This is an athletic team. Attack the board, see if you can get those second chance points and easy layups. If you're Kennesaw State, utilize the entire court. Collegiate basketball court, the measurements are 94 by 50, 4,700 square feet. And what the Owls are going to need to do is extend your offense a little bit more, pull those big men out, and see if you can get some big men to force. And also is attack Osai guy. He's the force inside. Attack him. See if you get him in foul trouble.
Let's meet our starters tonight in a young series. These teams meeting for the 5th time, first time in 5 years. The Owls wearing brand new jerseys today. In the grays, FIU in the navy blue as the Panthers control the first possession of the contest.
I tell you, I'm not mad about these grays uniforms. I actually like them a lot.
Osai guy unable to complete the end one, but he heads to the line.
And we mentioned, and we were talking off air, and just looking at Osai guy, he is so tall and lanky, and you know that this guy, as soon as he gets it inside, he's not looking to pass it out. You got guys that will get inside, look to pass it out. The first thing he's looking to do is put the ball on again once or twice and looking to score.
6'9", 250 pounds. He's a senior from Miami, averaging almost a double-double, 13 points a game, 9 rebounds a contest. And the defending Conference USA Player of the Week gets the roll, and the Panthers are out to a 2-0 lead.
And when you see your big man go to the free throw line at the beginning of the game and knock 2 free throws down, that's a good sign for your team.
And there's your impact player for the Owls, Terrell Burden, the freshman, as Kennesaw State looks to break the press.
And Burden is going to lead this team. He's going to be that primary ball handler, but I tell you, that's going to free up Hooker on the wing. And it's going to be a new look for him. It's going to be something that they got to adjust to, but that could actually work for the Owls.
KSU is tasked with one of the nation's best defenses. FIU leads the entire country. Forced turnovers, steals per game. One of the leaders in blocks, thanks to Osai, who's averaging 4.2 a contest. It's 4th in the nation.
It's tough, man. And
on the drive, Burden beats the shot clock but can't complete the lay-in.
Yeah, and as an Osai guy, having somebody like that, and he's a good player, and regardless of what conference he's in, as you see FIU attack the basket and going to the free throw line. With Osai guy, having someone like that in this conference, he can be so impactful because he brings so many different dimensions to the game, but he's just a dynamic player.
Antonio Day Jr., the sophomore from Durham, North Carolina, here for a pair. And so far, Terrence, first 2 possessions for FIU, the Panthers aren't afraid to attack the rim and attempt to draw contact.
Yeah, because the only player that they have inside that's really going to go and contest the shot to try to look for blocks, you have Antonio Spencer, who now goes to the bench because he's in foul trouble with 2 quick fouls, but they're going to attack him. And especially now that he's on the bench, FIU will not give up, and they're not gonna play lax right now since he's on the bench.
Hooker across the timeline.
And Hooker missed Lockley on the slip that time. He had a small window as Lockley spins, misses the layup, but good move. But Hooker had a chance with Lockley slipping to pass it in that window, and that would have been that pick and roll that they're looking for.
So FIU got the rebound, but a travel call gives possession to Kennesaw State. So here you go. Terrell Burden, 5'10" against Osai guy, 6'9" on the inbounds.
He gets the ball back. He's going to be the one that's attacking.
Burden puts it up and draws the foul. So far, yet to see a field goal, but we'll have 6 free throws within the first 90 seconds.
As you see Burden, he's just going to attack. He absorbs the contact. He feels it. I'm just throw it up and see if I can get some free throw line. He got the call. But with the FIU team, with the players that you have on the court, you don't want them to foul, but you have a deep bench that you can go to and sub in, and you're not going to lose much rhythm or any kind of rhythm at all when you bring that bench player in.
Amir Abdurrahim, just had a look at him, first year leading the Owls, former assistant for Tom Crean at UGA. As Burden nets KSU's first point of the afternoon. Nice feed, and Osai guy with a flush.
Yeah, it was just a simple pick and roll. It wasn't a hard pick. It was just a brush. You brush the guy, you roll. They found him. Keep it up high. He dunked it.
Off-ball contact. Tevin Brewer, number 11, gingerly limps to the edge of his bench. Isaiah Banks, a local out of Conyers, Georgia, takes his spot.
This is what I expected, and I'm sure the coaches of Kennesaw State did as well. But you're going to see pressure full court from these teams. They're looking to trap right now because they notice that Kennesaw has a high level of turnovers every single game.
Well, there's the broadcaster's jinx, Terrence.
You see the jinx, so I might know a little bit about what I'm talking about. But I tell you, man, like, look, those turnovers, if you're FIU, look for that. If you're Kennesaw State, put the ball in the hands of either Burden or Hooker.
Osaga turns in the paint. Off the mark with the left hand, and KSU secures the rebound with Lockley. Here come the Owls. Hooker demagnetized. And then a foul afterward. I think we've got more fouls than points right now,
yeah,
Terrence.
We do, man. 1 to 5. And I tell you, though, you're not upset with that attack from Hooker. You want him to attack it. It would have been better if he finished it, obviously. But you want them to continue to put that pressure on this Panther squad. But as we see before, as soon as Osaga gets the ball down low, you cannot allow him to take 3 dribbles. He will kill you if you allow him to take 3 dribbles. As soon as he put it down on the ground, you got to have somebody come in to trap him from the back or up top.
Tavon Andrews faces up against Lockley. And a foul against the Owls.
And this is kind of, for FIU, this actually kind of fits in. As you see Andrew, he catches the ball 15 feet away from the hole. He's going to take it at Lockley to see if he can move his feet. Because at this point, he's not going to extend himself to the three-point line. He's only shooting 30% from the three-point line. Let me do what I do best. I'm going to say 15 feet and see if Lockley can guard me.
So after the second foul against Lockley, the team 4th, he's out. And Antonio Spencer out of Sandy, Utah, takes his spot on the left block. Andrews in and out.
This is another trap for FIU. Got the ball in the hands of the 2 guards that you want. And good decision from Burden.
Obaniki over Osagai and off the glass.
And Obaniki, nice how he contorted his body and also went up. But you can't allow this if you're Kennesaw State. Come back down for FIU, easy basket.
Osagai on cleanup duty, his second dunk of the first half. Burden with some speed. Oh, goodness.
Did they get him for a foul? They did. They called a foul.
You know, Terrence, I thought the football game for KSU was supposed to start at 3 o'clock local time.
Yeah. Well, Look forward to that, man. We really are.
Well, a precursor here. The Owls will take on Weber State in the second round of the FCS playoffs. They will actually show that game here at the KSU Convocation Center right after this contest. Three from the left side, too strong. Possession remains with KSU.
Yeah, what you had that time was two Panthers fighting for the ball. They're just trying to go up and get rebounds. Communication about who's going to get it happens every time. It happens a lot. Just communication of who's going to secure the basketball.
45, Pietro Agostini with nice effort for the Owls there.
And as we see number 15, Obaniki, if I had a chance to give a 1A and 1B to players of the game, he would have been 1B because he's just as important as a hooker or burden because he brings a different element to the team as you see him cutting back door for the layup, but they missed it.
And another miscommunication there. Harris tried to find Agostini. And the Panthers have the ball leading by 5 early on.
And I would predict if the Panthers come down, they have an easy basket as they line up a three-pointer.
Jacob in and out on the deep one, but an offensive rebound secured by Damon Kerrigan. Andrews on the second attempt, but a foul.
And they got him for the offensive foul, Andrews. They got him for the offensive foul, but we spoke of the keys of the game, getting those second chance points. You're bigger, you're taller, you may be more athletic, but you have to attack that and see if you can get those second chance points.
First foul against Andrews. Burden lobs ahead. Harris denied. First block for FIU. Jacob 0 to 60 finishes the finger roll.
A nice move as he goes to the right and then he finishes with the left. Just a great move for FIU Jacobs.
A timeout on the floor. FIU with an early 7-point lead on the road.
We are Sunbelt. We look forward.
Commit to progress.
Shine together.
Elevate student athletes to create a better world.
Blaze the path. Challenge norms.
Enlighten and innovate. For no matter the height of our obstacles,
they will never block the sun.
We can. Be students first.
Rise.
Connect.
Impact.
Every day.
We are
Sunbelt.
What does it take to make 35 years? At Copeland's, it starts in the kitchen with fresh, made-from-scratch New Orleans classics, prepared with love and without compromise. We know you come to Copeland's for something good, and that's a legacy we're proud of. Come in today and let's celebrate 35 years. Copeland's, where there's always something good.
Hasn't been the prettiest game so far between Kennesaw State and FIU in the 5th all-time meeting between these two teams. Fouls have been aplenty, coming up on 10 fouls between the two teams.
Yeah, and if you're Kennesaw State, tonight you're going to be tested in so many different aspects of the game. You're going to see who have the good decision-making. You're going to see who's able to make those passes in tough situations. So tonight they're going to be tested.
Hooker with a left-handed lay-in.
And the remedy, as Andrew drives to the hole, right hand, you cannot allow that. But great box out if you're Hooker, if you're Burden, I'm sorry, great box out as they get a jump ball, I want to say. But
and friendly fire between a pair of Owls. Harrison Burden, who's still down on the floor.
You hear someone in the crowd screaming over the back, and I think he has a case because Burden had the position. And you see the Panther guy come over his back, but there was no foul.
That was Kerrigan fighting for the rebound.
And FIU just goes to a soft man-to-man full-court pressure. They're going to disguise it as a man-to-man, but then they may go back to the zone. But Hooker, good attack again.
Tosses it up and collects his own miss. Now open. And FIU chases down the long rebound. Trejon Brewer, pull-up three. Airmails. Turns into a pass for Banks.
As he pulls up, this might be an indication of what you want to do if you're Kennesaw State. Maybe switch into a 2-3 zone, a 1-2-2 to see if they can knock some threes down. But if staying into a man-to-man, it's not your best option defensively right now. And I think Coach has went to more a zone approach. But let's see if that helps and see if they can knock down some threes.
Osagai, the big force inside, off the pass, and heads to the line for the second time today. Agostini with a KSU foul.
And he's barking at the ref at this point. But what I would like to see was him play back a couple steps off Osagai. You know he's coming to the hole. He's not a jump shooter. So you know he's flashing to the hole. So push him out and allow them to throw the lob to him opposed to coming to the hole and flashing to the hole.
Antonio Spencer back into the ballgame for KSU. Off the mark and snared by Harris. On the feed, Spencer puts it down and misses.
But big body, great position. He got down low. As Lovett, as you see him go to the hole and find his man Panthers. Nice pass.
Corcoran in and out. And Hooker's able to maintain balance in the corner. Burden, nice move. Falls out to the left. And the Panthers push.
And I guarantee you, they're not missing these easy layups for no reason.
Corcoran still off the mark. Osagai called for the over the back.
Yep. And they're not missing these layups for no reason. It's because of the height of the FIU team. They're very athletic. They have height inside. So you have to alter your shot when you're going to the hole. And you've seen Kennesaw State miss a few of the easy layups.
Back to Hooker. Skips to the corner, a three. And KSU is still unsuccessful from distance.
If you want to get back, if you're Kennesaw State, set up in something. Don't look for no steals. Don't go in the passing lanes. This is just solid defense time. Couple possessions as Banks lined up another three.
Off the front.
Had a pretty good stance on the defensive end.
Hooker, the lone preseason all-conference player in this KSU roster.
Kennesaw State, they're being patient on the offensive end, finding the open man.
And a foul on the baseline.
So this is like oil and water. Sometimes when you play against an athletic team, you got to be the water to the oil. You can't speed up. You can't go fast. You got to slow it down. Be methodical what you're doing and strategic. In Kennesaw State, these last possessions, they've done that. They're not trying to find the good shot. They're trying to find the best shots. And if you're doing this, you can then chip away at the lead.
Coach preached valuing every possession of this ball game and staying patient over in the corners. They've had a few corner looks that just hasn't fallen in for KSU. Here's one. Will this one go in? Well, off the mark. FIU takes over with Corcoran. Antonio Day Jr.
Kennesaw State, they're playing this soft man-to-man defense, but you can't get confused if you're Spencer.
Day Jr. in and out. Hooker hands it off, a nice pass. Osagai with a swat, and then a foul later on.
It seems like Tyler Hooker is that player that can get the ball down the court so easily. He gets it down the court, he makes the best play, But FIU just makes it so difficult to score the basketball because every single attempt they're contesting.
That was the 7th team foul for the Panthers. And a couple of subs off Jeremy Ballard's squad. There's another look at all the action underneath the hoop.
You bailed him out, and the FIU bailed the Kennesaw State player out. As you see, Lewis is at the free throw line. Missed the first one. See if he can knock the second one down.
A couple of bigs in, Kerrigan and Andrews for the Panthers. He goes 0 for 2. FIU on a bit of a cold streak. And a nice steal defensively by Antonio Spencer of Kennesaw State.
It's FIU. They're going to push the issue. They're going to push it every single time. That time Andrews came down. Instead of pulling it out, he saw something, forced a little bit. Kennesaw State got the hands in.
An errant pass by Hooker. Turns the ball over again. And Terrence, if you're Amir Abdur-Rahim, head coach of Kennesaw State, by no means is this a pretty game for either side, but you got to be happy you're down by 6 nearing the halfway point against a very strong Conference USA squad.
Yeah, you're happy because the things that you're not doing well, it hasn't put you in the grave at this point. But if you continue to do things like that, as we see FIU score so easily, but you continue to do that, it will be. But so far, like Kennesaw State has been lucky, and also you're just showing signs that your team has a chance here today against the FIU team.
That was Devon Andrews with a nice hesitation, floating through the air with a two-handed lay-in.
And as we see a pick and roll between Lewis and we have Hooker, I would like to see that more.
And there's a steal for the Panthers. Andrews Euros and hands it off to a wide open Kerrigan. It almost seemed like it was in slow motion, Terrence.
It was. I talk about it. I feel like every game it's that Euro step that's incorporated in the game now. I love it. It's so hard to guard, man. When I go to the gym, that is one of the most difficult moves to guard.
Hooker doesn't need the Euro. He just puts on the speed.
He's so crafty inside, man, for a smaller guard.
Andrews hesitates in a foul. And so FIU maintains the lead as we reach the second media timeout. The Panthers have the ball when we come back to Kennesaw.
At Domino's, we're more than just pizza for $5.99. We're $5.99 bread twists, $5.99 sandwiches, $5.99 pastas, $5.99 chicken, and yes, $5.99 pizza too. We didn't stop at pizza, and you don't have to either.
Hi, this is Drew Tutton. This is the best time ever to own a brand new Jeep. It's Jeep Adventure Day. Ed Voles is North Georgia's #1 Wrangler dealer with over 600 Jeeps to choose from. Right now, you can own a new Renegade for as little as $15,977 or a brand new 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee for $26,877. But if that's not enough, how about no payments for 90 days on 2019 Compass, Cherokee, and Grand Cherokee? Only at Ed Voles Jeep, Cobb Parkway, Marietta.
At Tax Tag and Title. Are you feeling sacked by your natural gas company? It's time to become a fan of your gas plan. More Georgians choose Georgia Natural Gas for their gas company, and it's easy to see why. G&G is local, reliable, and has been serving Georgia for over 20 years with great rates you can count on. With 18 plans to choose from, G&G has one that's just right for you. Team up with G&G and put your winter game plan in motion. Call or visit gng.com today and get an extra $120 in savings.
With Domino's new delivery insurance, if your delivery isn't what you expected, we'll make it right. It could be a missing dipping sauce or a wrong topping. We want to make up for that mistake. Thank you. Get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each and put our delivery insurance to the test.
Well, if you want to start your holiday cooking early, we've got turnovers aplenty so far, Terrence. FIU with an 8-point lead here in the first half.
Yeah, if you're Kennesaw State, you're looking at their stats. They have 4 turnovers so far, and that's high when it's still 11 minutes to go in the first half. You got to limit your turnovers. You got to take care of the ball. The ball has been in the hands of Burden and also Hooker, so just limit those turnovers and see if you can then capitalize on the offensive side by getting points or going to the free throw line.
And Andrews sinks the first freebie. As a team, FIU is now 6 of 9 at the line. 5 of 14 from the floor, 0 of 5 from distance. In and out in the second, and KSU secures the board. Meanwhile, the Owls are 3 of 15 from the floor, 0 of 4 from beyond the arc, and just 1 of 4 at the stripe.
And I would say what contributes to that is putting full court pressure on the Owls. So when you do break that half court.
Corner 3 off the front.
And when you do break the half court pressure, now your legs are tired. You got to find a rhythm. So I contribute to the Kennesaw State poor shooting to the defensive and pressure of FIU.
Antonio Day Jr. had the right thought of mine, but too far in the pass for Kerrigan in the paint.
And what you're going to see, the Owls, another time, what they're going to do every single time, FIU, they're going to let the first player break the press, and they're going to send a secondary player either behind them to look to see if seal it from the behind or trap them if they're coming head on.
Lockley with a nice pass, and C.J. Washington finishes.
Nice move for Washington. I'm going to take it directly at you.
Meanwhile, FIU in the other end has an offensive board from Kerrigan, and he puts it back.
Andrews, he's putting the pressure on him. He's going to attack. He's high efficient. He's 50% from the field. It's not because he's shooting threes.
And Kennesaw State turns the basketball over Adili Kurbon. Fresh into the ball game, unable to find an open out.
And on the press, you're taught this. Nice
Washington
hands.
steals.
And you're taught this on the press. You cannot get too compact. You got to spread it out a little bit. In Kennesaw State, they're finding themselves too close to each other on this press, and it's making it easier for FIU to one player to guard two people.
Harris with a nice touch pass, and Lockley runs into contact underneath the hoop.
Great pass, great positioning. And for the FIU player, he tried to establish the law of verticality. He tried to go straight up, hands straight up, but it just got a little bit more body than he wanted to.
Bryson Lockley to the stripe for Kennesaw State, shooting at 68% this season. And the Owls have only made 1 free throw thus far.
And this is the verticality that I'm talking about. He hands straight up, he's leaning, he got to his body a little bit more, but if you're FIU, you're telling your players you want to do that, just watch the body a little bit more.
Lockley with a bounce, 1 for 2. Day Jr. on the drive, too strong. Loose ball in the corner. And possession to Kennesaw State.
If you're the coaching staff, if this was my team, I would tell them, Kennesaw State, FIU is getting to the basket too easy. When they're going on break, what we're going to do is we're going to anchor down inside the arc. We're not guarding anybody outside the arc. When they're on their press, anchor inside of the arc and make them beat you, because outside is too easy for them. This is the second player I spoke about that they're going to send every single time.
Washington, like Burden, a freshman on the squad. He's out of Randolph, New Jersey. Ten to shoot for Kennesaw State. And Lockley travels.
And you see Hooker comes back in the game. Great idea for Lockley to take it at the FIU player. He just took too many steps that time, but great idea from the Owls player.
Andrews off the heel.
Whenever you're playing, you have your mental notes that you have as a player. Mental note is Andrews missed 1 from the corner, a 3 from the corner. Let that be his go-to. Let him shoot.
Bird in the guard with an offensive rebound. Harris with another. Lockley, short. Andrews, under and around.
And you see Kennesaw State going to that pick and roll as Lewis has the ball up top. But that's what you want to see. You're going to have to get that pick and roll. See if you can find somebody slipping to the goal hard. Another turnover for the Owls.
Andrews with a no-look. Osaigai is fouled by Harris. A big moment for Osaigai on the previous possession. Now the nation's leader in blocks. Had 96 entering today. Or excuse me, 96 last season. Averaging 4.2 a contest this year. 130 in his career. And tickles the twine with a freebie.
And just give the listeners an insight of what that means and how significant it is. You may find a player on your team that's averaging 1.3 blocks a game. Osaigai is averaging 4.2. 4.2 blocks a game. That's unreal. And you can always count on those 4 blocks. And momentarily, those are big blocks so far.
Obviously, being 6'9" helps, but from a technician's standpoint, what makes him so good defensively?
It's also 6'9", it helps, but also you need the technique, and you got to have the hand-eye coordination to.
And the Owls get their first 3. That time from the wing, Hugo Obaniki.
So you got to have the hand-eye coordination. So 6'9" helps, but not all 6'9" players are able to block shots. There's plenty of 6'9" players in the league, but you got to have that tenacity and that know-how.
Pass too high for Burden. And a timeout on the floor. FIU with a 9-point lead as we approach the end of the first half here from Kennesaw. Tom Crean, the head coach at Georgia, here to support his former assistant. Coach Abdur-Rahim was with the Bulldogs last season. On his first year leading the Owls.
And you know, with Coach, that's what he brings to this Kennesaw State community. He brings people out, local players, local coaches, and that's what you're going to need for the Owls in the organization and direction they're going in.
Kerrigan for the Panthers there with the last basket. I think it says a lot to what was thought of Coach Abdur-Rahim.
Right.
Because you know this from playing the sport. If you get even a few hours off in season, that is, 1, rare. 2, to be able to drive across Atlanta on the day for the SEC championship game. Maybe Coach Crean's doing that afterwards, supporting the football team, but that speaks a lot.
It does.
To what Coach Amir was able to accomplish in Athens last year.
Yeah. I guarantee he could have been a lot of places today, like you spoke on. He could have been a lot of places. So for him to be here, it's just, I think that's the tradition and the direction that Kennesaw State is going with Coach Rahim.
Harris at the line and converts the front end.
And also in the stands, man, I look around and I see a lot of former players for the Owls. Unfortunately, we didn't see that a lot last year. So see a lot of the former players back. I think that's a great thing for this organization, the Owls.
Harris knocks in a pair. Back to a 9-point lead for the visiting Panthers.
Kennesaw State, they say, you know what, we're getting tired of getting punched. And you see them going into a full court zone themselves that time because they're getting tired of taking those punches in the mouth. At some point, you got to punch back. Kennesaw State, they're trying to take that. As they get a turnover, you have to punch back.
Maybe that's the punch the Owls are looking for here, trying to amount a run with under 7 to go in the first half. Burden in the lane. And a foul before his drive.
And okay, if we can rewind that a little bit, like it just giving the audience a play, how Burden was able to get inside was there was a lot of movement going on from the Owls. People cutting backdoor. You see a lot of movement right now. People's moving. If you're standing still, that's not going to happen. But with Lewis moving, Lockley moving, you see Burden being able to go to the hole because it confuses the defense a little.
Double bonus shooting here for Kennesaw State.
I think you touched on it earlier, 16 to 24. This is not a bad place if you're Kennesaw State. Yeah, realistically, you want it to be up or be tied, but this is not a bad place to be if you're Kennesaw State.
Burden off on the second loose ball, nearly chased down by Harris.
And the reason I say is because, A, you haven't played your best ball. Secondly, now it's 6 minutes left in the half. You're finding your momentum. You're finding your moxie. Now you're playing better ball. You're putting a little more pressure, making shots. So being down by 8, it's not a bad spot to be in if you're the Owls.
FIU is a team that won 20 games last year under first-year head coach Jeremy Ballard. Already FIU is on a 3-game winning streak coming into today and just demolished FGCU, another ASUN foe, on Wednesday, as the Panthers are out of bounds in the corner. Tracked down by Trejon Jacob, but ruled that his left sneaker was touching the paint.
Everything perfect. If you're the Owls, everything was perfect that possession. And that 1% that you didn't do well was box out long enough to grab the rebound. And luckily, the FIU player stepped on line if you're Kennesaw State.
Cameron Corcoran back in for FIU.
And look at number 4, Lockley, try to stay back. He went back on the defense, but a lot of times in that press, Lockley would be that second. Lovett would be that second player to come up and look in the trap.
From the corner. And it rolls out for Washington. A rebound for Banks. Lots of contact, no foul. Corcoran, meanwhile, just heaves it up and turns the ball over. Here comes C.J. Washington, zips to Burden, and the Owls give it back. Corcoran can't connect on the 3, but there's Kerrigan with an offensive board and stick back.
And Washington just found himself on that. I think we maybe have a timeout. No.
Brief timeout on the 4.
Okay, and as Washington, on that rebound, he found himself a little bit too far under the goal to position himself to box out. Got a little too far under the goal. FIU player was able to get it to rebound. But FIU, they continue to put the press, full court press on Kennesaw State right now. They're trapping the own ball player now, making it hard to get in.
Hooker takes it up the floor for Kennesaw State. Harris zips underneath, and Washington has the lay-in.
The movement. It's about the movement in this offense. This is the offense that actually pride themselves off moving. Continue to move. You're going to find somebody cutting. You're going to find good things if you continue to move in this offense.
Since the under-12 media timeout, not all have been perfect, but the passes have been much more crisp for KSU as Andrews misses a wide-open trifecta.
Yep, and it has. And this is the second. This is second mental note if you're the Owls. The second consecutive time, Andrews taking a corner 3, he's missed it. In that time, he was able to even square up, take a couple bounces, and then shot it. Allow him to take that. You're not going to round out on that. Let him go. If I'm Lockley, I wouldn't even run out. I'm staying back and try to position myself to get that rebound.
Shooting at just over 30% from beyond the arc entering today for the redshirt senior transfer from Kent State. Andrews off the screen. Window shops and a 10-point lead for FIU.
Another mental note, 50% he's shooting. Cannot allow him to drive to the hole, but if you're Andrews, I'm attacking every time. I'm not settling for threes, and he's doing a good job with attacking the rim.
And a clean swipe by Antonio Day Jr. Euros. And a 12-point lead for FIU.
And this is like the nuances of the game. People score and teams score so much these days because they push it, they shoot, they score now more. But an 8-point game went from 12 in a matter of seconds.
Under 10 to shoot for Kennesaw State. Pull up. And a splash for Terrell Burden. Andrews, meanwhile, shows off his versatility on the other end.
Can't get too high off of 2 points. And if you're Kennesaw State, yeah, you're happy that you got those 2 points. But more importantly, you need to rush back because every possession, the FIU players are streaking down the sideline looking for that fast break.
And the Owls will head to the line when we come back. FIU leads by 12 after the last immediate timeout of the first half.
Find your place. Find your community. Find your potential. Find your purpose. Find your passion. Find your wings at Kennesaw State University.
Loud Security is protecting the arts, local landmarks, businesses, and homes in our own community, serving Cobb County's many treasures. While we secure these prominent establishments, we'd like the opportunity to protect your home and business as well. Loud Security combines the convenience of today's technology with our trademark old-fashioned customer service to guarantee your peace of mind. We want to be your local security provider. Call us today and switch to Loud Security.
Call 678, get loud.
Under 4 minutes left here in the first half between Kennesaw State and FIU. Nolan Alexander joined by Terrence Hill. And the feel of this game right now is that FIU is trying to pull away even more as we head into halftime. But for Kennesaw State, how do you claw back into this one and take some MO going into the locker room?
You have to know that you're not going to get these 12 points back in one possession. You have 3 minutes left. And if 3 minutes requires you only to take 5 shots, you need to. But what that means is you have to be very, very precise and persistent when it comes to taking good shot. Be selective with your shots. No rush shots because, as we see, if you get a rush shot, that means FIU is streaking out looking for a fast break. So for Kennesaw State, how you chip away at this 12-point lead leading into half, take your time and be selective with your shots moving forward.
The Owls have struggled at the free throw line today, now 5 of 11 collectively. And Burden sinks his third. He's 3 of 6. FIU in the navy blue, Kennesaw State in the gray. New jerseys for the Owls debut today.
The Owls are doing a better job with that pick and roll. They're going under the screen now.
And a traveling violation turns the ball over.
Yeah. Kennesaw State, they're doing a better job with the pick and rolls. You see Osai guy actually in the pick and rolls a lot. They're going under the pick now, opposed to coming over top, which allowed the FIU to get easy backs early in the half.
And the Owls give it back. That is the 11th turnover by Kennesaw State. FIU has 9. And most of these turnovers for Kennesaw State have been unforced, which coming into today, if you looked at the stats, you'd think FIU is going to come away with a lot of steals. It's a team that has 96 entering today, third in the nation.
Yeah, you would expect that. But to hear tonight, you're not seeing that because a lot of these turnovers are unforced turnovers. These are just Kennesaw State being careless with the basketball, stepping on the line, not making the correct passes. But these are just unforced turnovers for Kennesaw State here.
Trejon Jacob and Tevin Brewer, a pair of starters, back onto the floor for FIU. Meanwhile, Kerbon, number 3, re-enters for Kennesaw State. Osagai coming off a 14-point, 11-rebound performance against FGCU. It wasn't much of a contest at all. Panthers prevailed by 18 points at home.
Yeah, he's in the beginning, one of the impact players, one of the keys of the game was to attack him. If you're the Owls, Osagai, he's just someone, he's not going to make those boneheaded plays of reaching or going up for a block that he possibly just really can't get. So it's hard to get guys like those in foul trouble, but you have to continue to attack.
And he's averaging about 30 minutes a game. Yep. Hasn't played as much today because of foul trouble. Now enters his 10th minute of action.
30 minutes is a lot for a big man to play these days.
What was your average back in the day, Terrence?
Man, I was around 17 points a game, 3 steals, about 4 or 5 rebounds.
1 to shoot for the Owls, and Kennesaw State can't get it off.
But
you're ready to reel off those steals and all the stats outside of minutes.
That's it, man. That's it. But I'm trying to, the minutes I hauled in most of the games. I played a lot of the games. I would say at least in the high 30s when I played.
Andrews with a nice drive, tosses it up and one.
Time player. And he's going to square you up. He's going to dance a little bit. He's going to see what you're giving him. That's what he did. He squared Spencer up. He saw what he's giving him, and he's going to take it to the basket because Spencer was pushing up on him. That means I can go around the slower player. That's what Andrew did. He took advantage of it.
That free throw gives him 13 points, and what'd you say? Came in shooting 50% from the floor?
50%.
5 of 10 today. In line.
You have to stop that 50%. Oh, steals.
Brewer with a nice steal, hands it off to Jacob, who's fouled.
You asked me a question, and this is around the 320 mark. What can they do? What can Kennesaw State do to chip away at this lead? And my answer was be strategic, it was slow. And right now, since that remark, I've seen Kennesaw State be in a panic almost. And now, not only is it not a 12-point lead, it's now 15 points lead, and then he could possibly make it a 16-point lead going into the half. You got to learn you got to close each half out in a better way. You got to close them out, especially the first. It's a 16-point lead. Let's say they go into that half. That's a hard and big hole to dig yourself out of.
So clearly did nothing that you said.
Nothing that we said at all, man.
Jacob off the front door. And Harris is unable to handle the hot pass.
That is draining as a player. You're breaking the press. That's what you do. You break it, then you throw it, and it's a turnover. It's almost defeating as a player to see that. But Hooker is a player. I've seen him grow and mature so much that on that possession then, last year he would put his head down. That time he just ran back and set up on defense.
Andrews the leading scorer with 13 points. Tries it again and is stuffed. Hooker weaves through traffic and has a beautiful lay-in.
That's what you need. Left, right, taking it to the hole. I'm not scared of you. I'm taking it at your head if you're Hooker and see what you can do.
Three ball by Carrington, nets it. Or Banks, pardon me. And FIU finally finds a long-distance connection.
First three of the game, So it's just kind of baffling that in the entire first half, Kennesaw State, they're pressing. This is the first three. If they have yet to make a three, there's no need to press up high. Step back a little bit and observe that and protect the lane before you give that three up. Give the three up and protect the lane.
FIU is now 1 of 9 in three-point shooting. Came into today shooting at almost 38%.
Yep. It's definitely an off half for them. I don't expect them to only make 1 3 the second half. So as Kennesaw State, what you're going to do when they start knocking those shots down, how are you going to chip away at the lead?
That was Brewer's second foul for FIU. Here's Hooker to the stripe. Hooker 7 points, 3 of 7 from the floor. This is first trip to the stripe and knocks in both.
And this stance right here from Kennesaw State is going to be pivotal. And as they come up with a steal.
Burden on the fast break is hacked. Banks with a foul.
I love it. I do. You love to see that if you're an Owls fan. Before I can even finish my comments, I was going to say this is going to be pivotal for Kennesaw State because the FIU Panthers, they're looking for a 2-for-1 at that time. Looking for a 2-for-1 possession, you stopped it. But even with 40 seconds left in the half, they're still able to get that 2-for-1. So if you're the Owls, get back set up and don't let them get to 2-for-1.
Burden coming off a nice performance. The freshman had a young career high, 15 points at Elon, shot 50% from the floor earlier this week. And leads trimmed down to 12 as CJ Washington takes the spot of Burden. Jacob, spin cycle denied. Brewer too strong. And Carrington finishes.
Finishes strong too. Second chance points. You have to box out, put your body on somebody. Get one shot at this point. I would look for them to have a pick and roll with Hooker and Lockley. And see if you can get Hooker going or Lockley flashing to the hole.
Hooker tosses it up with a left hand and draws contact.
Yep. I tell you, man, you got to have that little confidence. And you can see Hooker has it right now. Sometimes you don't need a screen. Sometimes you just say, you know what, coach, put the ball in my hand. I don't need a screen. Get out of my way. Let me go one-on-one. I've been working on my craft all summer. Go one-on-one. You know what, I'm not finishing with the right. I'm finishing with the left, and I'm at the free throw line.
A thing of beauty. Meanwhile, Isaiah Banks, a little shaken up for FIU. Makes a homecoming today out of Conyers, Georgia.
You hate to see any player go down. I hope Banks is okay. He's holding his lower back. So I hope he's okay because you hate to see any player go down from injury.
Meanwhile, the Owls have found success on the offensive end. KSU has made its last 4 field goal attempts. Hooker now in double digits and makes it 11.
If you're the Owls, you want to let that breathe. You want to let Tyler Hooker's last play breathe. What that means is you cannot give up a basket with 4.6 seconds left in the half.
Andrews to inbounds for FIU. Day Jr. beats the buzzer. And we head into halftime with a 41-30 score. Kennesaw State has found success on offense. Meanwhile, FIU continues to clean up around the glass. We'll take a look at stats and more coming up at the half here from Kennesaw.
don't get to do this every day, and we are really going to enjoy it. Seniors, you're up first. We're cutting down the net. Let's go. That was the best volleyball match I've ever been a part of. Win or lose at any level. I mean, that was unbelievable. But yes, it did play out a lot like last year. And credit to our guys for sticking to it because they had all the momentum going into the fifth. And we just kept fighting. Man, am I proud of our team. You can go down the line with how hard our guys fought. And I'm so proud of our ladies. And we got blocked in the fifth set last year in the championship game. And this year in the fifth set of the championship game on the road, she takes a swing like that to win the title. You talk about maturity and growing up and working her butt off to get to this place. What a fantastic match by her. Built this on culture. When we got to KSU, we said, do you want a quick fix and do lots of transfers? And do you want to bring people in to do a short-term thing and try to get good quick, or do you want this long-term? And they said long-term, and I said, great, because that's what I want to do. And so we tried to build this with the right kind of people, with the right kind of work ethic, just doing it the right way. And it hasn't always been easy. But you saw it tonight. If we don't have the right toughness, mentality, familyness that we had, there's no way we pull that out. I want you guys to allow yourselves to be happy for the next about this and really truly enjoy this. Okay? This was really, really, I'm gonna keep saying it, hard, against a lot of odds. I mean, and guys, I want to go win a ball game or two, okay, in the NCAA tournament. So I'm not saying this season's over. Okay, we got a team that we can go do some damage. But please allow yourself to enjoy this. There are coaches, guys, that do this for 40 years and don't ever win a conference championship. There are players that go through for 4 or 5 years and don't win. They don't win one. Allow yourself to enjoy this one. All right, soak it in.
House on 3, 1, 2, 3. House.
Back at the halftime, 41-30 FIU with a lead over Kennesaw State. Let's take a look at our stats from the first half. Now these numbers we're about to see here in just a second, Terrence, is this indicative of the score? Are they telling the truth or are they lying?
I think it's kind of deceiving when you look at the stats. One thing that's not deceiving is the turnovers for both teams. Kennesaw is a little bit above their average, but the three-point percentage, both were not shooting so well. Whereas deceiving there are the assists. FIU is averaging 16 assists per game, and tonight they're only having 5 assists in the first half. Rebounds fairly even, but the field goal percentage, 42 for FIU, 34 for Kennesaw State, and it's mainly because they are getting to the basket easier than Kennesaw State.
Up next, take a look at some of the best plays from the first half. FIU is in the lead in our first 20 minutes of action. Kennesaw State plays host to FIU today. Almost ready for the start of the second half. Let's take a look back at some of our best plays from the first half. And Terrence, close proximity, the story of all of these highlights. Lots of points in the paint. 28 for FIU, 14 for KSU in the first half.
And as you see, Obaniki, that's the 1B impact player of the game, attacking. And you see Day attacking, but they're going to clean up with the second chance points. If you're a hooker, you want to continue to do this because you bring bright spots for your team. And Jacobs, it's just a strong finish. Going to your right, finishing with your left. But this is a team that's going to push it. Andrews, impact player of the game. Let me up and under you, come up for the reverse. Hooker, you have to do this the entire night. This is what he did last year. He needs it here tonight. Andrews, they call it the Euro pass. And I'm going to finish it home strong. Again, just weaving in and out the traffic if you're Hooker. And we're going to finish this up with another Euro step. Killing them.
Up next, we'll tip off this second half from the KSU Convocation Center. KSU huddles up to start the second half. FIU with an 11-point lead. And I think to close out that first half, if you're Kennesaw State, you started to gather some momentum. The Owls were 4 for 4 from the field. Tyler Hooker found his groove, now with 13 points.
Yep, and they ended the half like they wanted to, down by 11. So now what do you have to do? You have to build on that. There's no lapse. You can't have a lapse if you're Kennesaw State or FIU. There's no lapse in offense or defense. You don't want to find yourself down by 16 again, because FIU, they can pile up the points.
FIU in the Navy Blue, winners of 3 in a row, 6-3 on the season under second-year head coach Jeremy Ballard, trying for back-to-back 20 wins years. And Kennesaw State forces a turnover on the defensive end.
And give credit for number 24 in Lewis for Kennesaw State. He saw the pick and roll. He was in his assignment. He stayed on the backside, and he was on the help side in a great position, and he came up with the steal.
The Owls with new gray jerseys today. Terrell Burden, the freshman, runs into contact and a foul against the Panthers. And Trejon Jacob.
And I always talk about the things that you don't see on the stats. And I would say in that possession, you saw a side guy. After the possession, he saw Jacobs reach a little bit. And as the leader on the team, he came up and talked to him. Hey, you cannot reach. Right now, this is the point where we need to take off, and reaching is only sending them to the free throw line for easy baskets.
Third foul for the Seminole State transfer. FIU had 14 fouls in the first half. Kennesaw State had 10.
Yeah. Officiating is so tough because it's all about the angles where they see it from. Regardless if you think you touched them at that point, as soon as you put your hand down, it appears as if you foul.
Day on the other end. And back-to-back fouls. This is kind of how we started the ball game.
Yep.
Lots of fouls between the two sides. I think we had 6 free throws attempted before we even had a basket.
Yep. I think it was 1 to 5 early on. So.
Oh, it wasn't pretty. it was not pretty.
No.
And a nice steal defensively by Antonio Spencer. Offensive rebound and a stick back. Back-to-back plays for Spencer gives the Owls some momentum here, now down by 9.
Yeah, Obaniki attacking him. And then once you attack him, that takes him out the play. Now you have Spencer coming up to finish it.
Spencer at the top of the key. Burden with a long 2, nets it.
Look for a timeout from the, yep. The timeout was coming. Kennesaw State's on a roll.
Kennesaw State with a couple of buckets to open play in the second half. We'll come back after FIU takes the timeout.
If you need medical treatment at the highest level and want care that's personal, turn to WellStar. We offer the latest procedures at Georgia's first certified comprehensive cardiac center. A collaborative approach to fighting cancer that accelerates diagnosis and treatment. And a top-level stroke program performing life-saving operations every day. At WellStar, we care for the whole you. Visit wellstarhealth.org.
Find your potential. Find your voice. Find your spirit. Find your community. Find your passion. Find your future. Find your wings at Kennesaw State University.
When you have a plumbing emergency, you need professionals you can rely on. You need Superior Plumbing. Trustdale certified, Superior Plumbing uses the latest technology to save you time and money.
We are committed to offering our customer honest, expert, and courteous plumbing service every time.
They're going to do what they say they're going to do, and they're going to do it in a timely manner and at a reasonable price.
For Superior, the honest one, call 770-422-PLUM.
Kennesaw State has found success to open the second half. What have you seen, Terrence?
This is something that you didn't see last year. This was the effort coming out in the second half. You saw the defensive stance, and what happens after this possession is Kennesaw State went on a couple baskets. Now they cut that lead down within 7. but it started on that defensive end, and that's something that you didn't see last year from the outs.
A 4-0 run by Kennesaw State to open up the latter half. FIU in the navy blues, Kennesaw State in the grays. There's a nice spin by Jacobs in the corner. 3 converts. From the corner, Devon Andrews.
And he knocks it down, but that's 1 for 3 from the corner. I'm still being a little laxed on that three-pointer if you're the Owls guarding Andrews in the corner.
FIU is now 2 of 12 from distance. Entered the ball game shooting at 38% from beyond the arc.
And you got to give hats off to this FIU defense. They're having Kennesaw State start their offense far out from the three-point line. It just takes you longer to get in your set. Now you have a time to go to the basket. They're doing a great job.
Washington swatted from behind, gets his own miss. Hooker beats the shot clock but misses, and he did not beat the shot clock, called a violation.
But you know, Hooker knew the time. He knew what he had before he got the ball, before he received it. He knew that the clock was running down 2 seconds, and he was forced to take that shot.
Jacobs after the shot fake. Brewer. Alice with the rebound, it's Harris.
And you like this lineup for Kennesaw State as you put more length on the floor with Obaniki. You got Lewis on the court.
Andrews after the turnover, a wide open jam.
Yeah, and I tell you, if we were going by NBA rules, that might have been clear path and one, because he definitely got fouled and held on that possession.
Speaking of NBA rules, you got a hot take on LeBron's no-call travel the other night in Utah?
You referring to the one where he took a couple dribbles, picked the ball up?
Yeah, where he walked to the Grand Canyon.
It's LeBron James, I guess. Yeah.
Offensive rebound and a little bunny there for Antonio Spencer.
Spencer, you hover around that area. You stay within a couple feet of that basket. There will be missed shots, and we're going to need you to get those to put them back in.
Jacob from the left side.
Listen, for a team that's won 3 consecutive games, they're not going to lay down when you go on your run if you're the Owls. FIU will not go on and run. It will not lay down, so you're going to have to bring it to Kennesaw State.
And a blocking foul in the paint as Spencer runs in. It's against Antonio Day Jr. Another look at it.
I think he was he was moving a little to the left, but if he would have got established, I think that would definitely be an offensive foul. And let me correct this. When it comes to a charge, you can still be moving and still get a charge if they hit you directly in the middle of your chest. But on that possession, he was still moving to the left as soon as Spencer takes up for the right-hand layup, and he found himself with the blocking foul.
Where does that rank as far as least favorite things to practice during the week?
The charges?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not bragging on my team when I played, but I am bragging.
Going ahead.
We had this drill with Coach Ingle. We used to have this drill. It consisted of 3 things. You had to go in the help side, you had to close out, and then you had to finish it up by coming back to help side and finishing on a charge. After that, everyone would come over, cheer, help you up. I think we love that, man. But I will say, you don't like getting hit. That's not a part of the game that you like to take that charge.
Spencer knocks both down. He has 6 points tonight. An 11-point lead for the Panthers on the road. Jacob, step back. Heat check, he's feeling it. Back-to-back threes by Trejon Jacob.
And after the made shot, he finds Jacobs in the corner, putting pressure on Hooker.
Burden on the run, bounces Spencer around in the roll.
Composure. For a young guy, he has a lot of composure so far, man.
An offensive foul against FIU sends us to the timeout. Lots of exciting basketball here in the second half. Stay with us. We'll be back to Kennesaw after this. Antonio Spencer is a new man for Kennesaw State in his second half. 8 points and 2 rebounds in less than 5 minutes of action.
Yeah, first half stats 0 for 1 from the field. He came out the second half. I don't know what the coaches said in the locker room, but whatever they said, he's really stuck to it because he found himself in 2 or 3 possessions under the basket, finished strong, and every chance FIU got, he came back and capitalized and got the momentum back on their side.
He had that MJ secret stuff.
That's what it is, man. I need that myself.
When you find it, let me know.
I'll
take a swig.
I don't mind sharing, I promise you, man. Yeah, he's just been a different player this half, and with the guy his height, he can go against the bigger guys. But if you can score too and add that to your team, and you're a different type of player. Now you're under this microscope that everybody need to guard you too.
That foul on Brewer with his 4th. He stays in the ball game here. Bird into the corner. Spencer off the mark. And Carrington lobs ahead to Banks.
If you're FIU this possession, I'm looking for Jacobs. Or you can look for Andrews taking an easy layup.
And a foul afterward.
On Andrews.
He picks up the tech after his 20th point of the night.
I think that's like one of the coaches, you become furious because you just scored the basket. There's no need to chip at the coach, at the referees at that point. You score your basket, get back down the court and play defense.
Average 16 points a game entering today. Another look at it. This lay-in gave him 20 points. Said something you couldn't say.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't see much there, but referees know, man. Like, you have to this comes down to knowing your personnel when it comes to referees as well. On the court, you got to know what referee, you can push the line a little. You might be able to say something because they're not going to call a tech. Also with fouls, you got to know your officials and who's in the game this time because that comes down to knowing everything in aspect of the game.
3 fouls on Andrews now. A 13-point deficit for Kennesaw State at home as the Owls look for their first win of the Amir Abdur-Rahim era. Hooker on the drive and a monster flush by Antonio Spencer.
Again, I don't know what he's drinking in the second half, but at 38, I need it.
Andrews rolls out. A fight for the basketball and a jump ball as Spencer and Carrington tangle together.
Spencer is doing everything on the court at this point, and he's single-handedly bringing it off of this missed layup from Hooker. You just bring it in. I'm going over 2 people. I'm bringing it home. And not only are you going to give 2 points to your team, but the crowd has been waiting on this. You're keeping the crowd into it. The crowd's been wanting to cheer, and he's giving them something to cheer about.
He averaged 6 rebounds a game coming into today. That's tied for 9th in the A-Sun, along with his teammate Armani Harris. And I think no matter what, however this game ends up, I'm sure Coach Abdur-Rahim is going to show this clip of time, and for his team's sake, hopefully more, and show, here you go, Antonio.
Yep.
Let's build off of this.
Yep.
Well, what changed here from what we saw before to what we've seen over the past 5 or 6 minutes? Let's have that for a full 40.
Yep. And what it is, it comes down to you can't fade during games. Good players, you notice all the good players, they don't fade. There are moments where they don't score, but they're doing different things in the game, whether it's assists, playing defense. And if you're Spencer, he's not fading this half. As you see him,
Johnny on the spot, and that's going to be a goaltend.
Yeah, you can't fade, and he's not fading. He's being consistent, and as a good player, coaches will pull him in an office either tomorrow or Monday and show him this real because he is putting on the show.
He was 0 of 1 from the floor in the first half. That's now 12 points, and so Cy Guy leads the nation in blocks, but you can't do that.
No, that was coming down.
Back to a 9-point Panther lead. Jacobs bullets to the corner. Corcoran off the side, and Eric Lovett has a nice offensive board. And Corcoran takes advantage of the open look. The third 3 for FIU in the second half.
And Washington was who gave the rebound up to Lovett. And that time, Lovett just overpowered Washington to get to that rebound.
Hooker on the wing. Drives in, floats, tipped around, Spencer with another board. The hook's in and out. Harris off the glass.
Antonio Spencer is his name. If you don't know him, it's contagious when you put this effort in. Your teammates, as you see, Spencer gets a census foul. But it's contagious when you see a teammate that's putting everything in. You then see other players like Lewis coming and then putting in effort and finding himself 2 points on the board.
Harris now has 10 rebounds. That leads the team, but Spencer is 2 rebounds away from KSU's first double-double. He's tied with Hooker for a team-high 12 points. And a defensive foul. Hooker grabs his second foul and the third for Kennesaw State of the half.
And although Kennesaw State's been on their like a good foot right now, you have to figure out what can you do to really get this to like a tie game. Trading basket is not going to get you there.
FIU's made 5 of its last 7, make that 6 of 8. As Cameron Corcoran, the transfer from Arkansas Little Rock, sprints the hoop.
And you have to find what you're going to do. And again, you cannot trade baskets. As we see, Birding takes it. Harris comes up with the big rebound again.
But the Panthers hold. Jacob to the rim and one as it swirls in.
And we talked about it. Do you want to take charges? The answer is no. And Hooker, the guy I talk to all the time, he did not want to take that charge. And he found himself getting a blocking foul because he didn't establish himself, because he doesn't want to take that, because there's so many things that can happen when you go up and you see a guy coming up with knee first. That's going to be a hard hit to the chest or any parts of the body.
Jacob now with 10 points, looks for his first free throw. FIU's 10 of 17 today, that's just under 59%. Kennesaw State, the same ballpark, 14 of 23. And he rainbows in the and one. FIU has used the press for the majority of this ball game. It's been a strong man defense year for the Panthers here in 2019.
And it makes your offense so tired, make the guards so tired. As you see Hooker drop, but it just makes your offense so tired when you get full court press.
9 to shoot for the Owls. Washington hesitates, floats, and drains it. It's a 2 for CJ Washington. And it brings us to a media timeout on the floor. These teams are trading baskets. FIU still in the lead on the road.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, because we understand mistakes happen.
Like to return this, please?
Oh, no returns.
It's gonna cost me $43.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
At Fifth Third Bank, we've got your back, which is why we give you extra time to avoid an overdraft.
Extra time. That is better.
You still have to pay for this one.
I don't want to.
Fifth Third gives you extra time to avoid overdraft fees. This is banking. A Fifth Third better.
If you need medical treatment at the highest level and want care that's personal, turn to Wellstar. We offer the latest procedures at Georgia's first certified comprehensive cardiac center, a collaborative approach to fighting cancer that accelerates diagnosis and treatment, and a top-level stroke program performing life-saving operations every day. At Wellstar, we care for the whole you. Visit wellstarhealth.org.
Hi, this is Drew Tutton. This is the best time ever to own a brand new Jeep. It's Jeep Adventure Day. Ed Vols is North Georgia's #1 Wrangler dealer with over 600 Jeeps to choose from. Right now, you can own a new Renegade for as little as $15,977 or a brand new 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee for $26,877. But if that's not enough, how about no payments for 90 days on 2019 Compass, Cherokee, and Grand Cherokee? Only at Ed Vols Jeep, Cobb Parkway, Marietta.
FIU with a 13-point lead on the road, looking for its 4th straight victory. Trejon Jacob, how about the second half for FIU's number 3? The senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina, has been decisive with the basketball. He's taken some contested threes as well, and he's made them.
Yeah, the contested threes, but when you got the hot hand, those contested threes, those are still your shots that you can take. You still feel in rhythm, because once you get in rhythm and you're hot, the basket becomes bigger. And right now for Jacob, not only is he driving to the hole, but he's knocking those threes down, which creates a larger threat if you're the Kennesaw State for Kennesaw State.
He's one of 4 Panthers in double figures. He has 11 points. Devon Andrews' 20 is a game high. It's been a nearly even second half. FIU at 21 points. Kennesaw State has 19. The Panthers are in the navy blue. The Owls defend in the grays. Love it. Connects from the wing.
And there wasn't much to that. That wasn't much to it. It was just a simple kick, a quick pass to the 3, and Lovey was able to knock it down, square up and knock it down.
And I think that's a big difference right now in the scoring. That's Florida International's 6th three-pointer. Kennesaw State is just 1 for 8 from beyond the arc.
Yeah. In the first half, they only had 1 3 in the first half.
Oh my goodness, get out of the way for Mr. Obenicki. Second authoritative flush. Jacob, in and out on the 3.
And if you're Obenicki, again, he's another player that you're going to sit down and have a conversation with. You could do this every possession. You're athletic. I seen him last game. He did the same thing as someone. Attack the basket.
Burden on the run and a wedgie. Well, we've got to have another look at that dunk by Obenicki. Takeoff. Posterization.
He's just getting off the floor faster than the defensive player, but Obenicki, he's an athletic player. He can do this every possession, but of course he's going to add. He needs to add a couple more things to his game. Maybe the jump shot. Maybe take those 3 a couple times so the defense can come out on you, and that's going to be easier. And I tell you, this is not the first, and it won't be the last player that he posterized.
Burden 5 of 11 at the stripe tonight. Now has 10 points.
Kennesaw State, they're in the soft 2-3 zone right now. You want them to make 3. Although they made 5 threes this half, they're in the soft 2-3.
Andrews fades and rolls out to the right. And an interesting call underneath the hoop against Kennesaw State.
Harris is like, I don't know what happened. I didn't touch him.
That's the same look on Amir Abdurrahim's face.
Crowd is like, I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, you can see Harris. He definitely fouled him, pushed him bad. Yeah. Sometimes when the players show that face of like disbelief, sometimes we have a tendency to believe them like they didn't foul. But then the great thing is we have replay, and Harris was guilty on this one. He did push him slightly in the back.
Jacob gives a great alley-oop to Osaga. Another offensive rebound for the Owls, and a denial, but then Harris is on cleanup duty. And a timeout on the floor. 67-54 the score. This game started out admittedly pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Lots of fouls. The team struggled offensively, but this has been some good basketball for the past 5 or 6 minutes, Terrence.
Yeah, good basketball. Both teams, they're getting into their offense sets. They're knocking shots down. They're making plays. And you're seeing more effort on both squads. But right now, if you're FIU, let's find a hot man. Let's ride Jacobs. Let's ride Osaga. Like, what can we do if you're Kennesaw State? Continue to attack the basket. Continue to get the second chance points. But also with Kennesaw, 9 minutes, 47 seconds to go in the game. What are you going to do to get back in this game?
Kennesaw State had 0 second chance points in the first half. The Owls now have over 10. Jacob slashes in and continues his second half tear.
Decisive, as you mentioned before. He's very decisive. He knows what he's going to do before he gets the ball. He's been reading the defense. Don't just let them, when you see it, you may think as Kennesaw loses the ball, but you may think that he's just like going recklessly. No, but he's reading this defense. He knows what he can get.
5 of 8 shooting, good for 13 points. Seven to shoot for the Owls. Hooker keeps it alive. Time ticking down and a Panther foul. It's on Eric Lovett, the swingman out of Jonesboro, Georgia. Handful of Panthers making homecoming appearances today. He's joined by Isaiah Banks and the head coach, Jeremy Ballard, who's from the Atlanta area, and despite being in the coaching ranks for a little more than a decade, this is just the second time that he's been able to come back to Atlanta as a coach. Former assistant at VCU, Pittsburgh, amongst other places. Now in his second season in Miami.
You always want to go back in front of your home crowd, your family, your friends, and play / coach. It's always a good feel, but I tell you, man, like FIU doesn't seem like they're slowing up as Lovett goes up for the. Did he jump over him?
And a foul goes the way of Kennesaw State. A charge on Lovett. Coming in for the wing, another look at it. What do you think, Terrence?
Yeah, definitely a charge. He was there. Lockley was there in position. And Lovett was a little reckless and out of control on that.
Second turnover by Lovett today.
But what I do also know and think with 8 minutes and 50 seconds, Kennesaw State, you're going to have to take at it because you're at the free throw line in the bonus.
Yep.
You need to take advantage of that. That's on your side. That's the way that you can get back in the game.
8 fouls for FIU, 22 total in the game. Hooker, meanwhile, has it stripped out by Kerrigan. Possession remains with Kennesaw State, 13 to shoot. Hooker, after the shot fake, off the mark with a 3. And the Panthers take possession.
Not a bad look if you're Hooker, but the better shot would have been the top of the key. If you'd have passed to the open Nicky, he was wide open for the 3. That would have been a better shot on that possession for Kennesaw State.
Pass stolen away by Burden, but he's out of bounds. Nice effort, though, from the freshman.
Now, there's one player that I've yet to speak about, and I got to give him credit right now, and that's number 11 for FIU, Brewer. He's doing a great job with facilitating this team. He knows when to score. He knows when to pass it. He's done a great job being a facilitator.
Lockley comes down after the miss from Lovett. Burden on the other end with a right-handed lay-in. You're right, it's a quiet stat line for Brewer today. No points, 0 of 3 field goal shooting. 1 rebound and an assist.
Yep.
And a nice play defensively there for Kennesaw State. We have the under 8 media timeout. A tight second half between FIU and Kennesaw State. We'll come back after this. Little Conference USA ASUN battle today. FIU with the lead on the road after the under-8 media timeout. So Devon Andrews was the story for the Panthers in the first half. In the second half, Kennesaw State has found more success on offense, but the score for the most part has remained about the same as far as the differential goes, thanks to Trejon Jacob's 13 points.
Yeah, 13. Him and Jacobs, and you have Andrews. They can fluctuate and they can rotate in interchangeable parts because he comes in scoring 9 points a game, and it's like having two-headed monster of who can take control in the second half. As you mentioned, Jacob has been that guy for FIU.
Obed-Nicky gets his hand in on the Andrews drive. Panthers, though, still have the basketball, but 9 to get it off. Andrews, short. Obed-Nicky with another board.
And Burden comes up on the ground. Andrew is just a big physical guy that's going to put a punishment on you every single time you go to the hole.
Burden held back up by Harris. It's been an offensive drought for Kennesaw State, or FIU, excuse me. Now over 2 minutes without a bucket for the Panthers. Andrews tries to put an end to it. Hands it up. Banks denied. But FIU gets the ball back. Still off the mark. Hooker with a one-handed rebound.
And you're going to need to make 2 or 3 passes. If you're the Owls, you're going to need to make 2 or 3 baskets. You see Harris goes up for that putback. 2 to 3 passes to move the defense just a little bit. I know time is running down, but you're not in that urgency at this moment. Move it a little bit, move that defense, because just going one-on-one every time, it's not moving the defense, it's not getting them tired.
6 points, 13 rebounds for Harris. Meanwhile, Andrews on the left side is short. A fight for it on the baseline and a foul.
It's a loose ball foul. Going against FIU, Lockley is going to the free throw line to shoot 1 right now. This is going to be important. If you're Kennesaw State, go to the free throw line and knock these down. More importantly, if you can find yourself shooting 2 with 5 minutes to go, no telling what can happen in those 5 minutes.
And if you're a Kennesaw State fan, this is the hunger and the type of attitude and effort plays you want to see from your squad that's still looking for win number 1 of the season.
It is. You just need that if you're going to win a game, if you're going to close a game, you need the effort.
Lockley short, loose ball. Corcoran comes up with it.
FIU, it's one of those things, you're up right now. Run that shot clock down under 10 seconds and then start going for a play. That's what you want to do. You want to control that shot clock.
The Panthers haven't scored in over 3 minutes and 15 seconds. They're 0 of their last 6. Jacob spins, dishes it off, and Banks puts an end to the drought.
I'm going to try to put you guys, and I'm going to try to get in the mindset of Jacob. When you get into this point where you're just in your zone, the game slows down for you. You see 2 or 3 plays ahead.
Hooker on the run, and 1.
Hooker finishes strong with that, but when you have that and you're going in the zone, as we see Hooker going to the replay, Hooker just has the tenacity to finish at the basket. And he goes up and draw the and 1. He needs to go to the free throw line and make this free throw. But going back to Jacobs, the game slows down for you. You start to see plays 2 or 3 steps ahead of everyone. And on that spin move, he knew his guy was there before he spun. He spun and found his guy down low for an easy basket.
Tyler Hooker now with 15. Well over his season average of 9 a game. A 10-point lead for Florida International. Andrews to the rim. Blocked from behind.
And that's the downfall of the 10-second rule. 10-second rule, you take no shots unless it's under 10 seconds, but that's the downfall. If you miss it or come up with a block like Lockley just did, you only have 5 seconds on the shot clock at this point.
Osai guy wide open in a two-handed slam dunk.
I guess when you have outside guy, 5 seconds doesn't matter.
He's had a quiet second half.
Yeah.
Hooker up and under, but short. Lockley's able to save it. Osai pestered and draws an owl foul.
Osai guy just seems so unbothered at all moments. On that possession, he gets the rebound. He's so unbothered. Let me grab this. This is my job. And I love to see players like that don't get too overhyped because, you know what, this is my job. Let me do my job. I want to get the win. That's the most important thing. And you can tell from the Osai guy, the most important thing is not statistics. It's about him getting a win for his team.
The Conference USA Player of the Week, 14 points, 5 rebounds. 6 of his 14 points have come at the stripe. Andrews steps back and short.
Great defense for Lockley. He anticipated Andrews going to the right. He stepped in front of him and forced him to shoot that long two.
Washington to the rim.
If you notice, Kennesaw State, they're coming out in the full court press, and this is what got them back in the game in the first half when they went to that press.
4 minutes to go at the KSU Convocation Center. FIU up by 10, and Corcoran misses the open look. Hooker tracks it down. It's the 8th rebound for Tyler Hooker. From the corner, Washington's fouled. And a prime opportunity for Kennesaw State to cut the deficit to single digits. Washington to the line after this. Kennesaw State has an opportunity to cut the deficit to within 10 points. Nolan Alexander joined by Terrence Hill. We've seen a successful second half for both of these teams. It's been great basketball. What changes or what stays the same from a mindset and mentality here in the final 3:43, Terrence?
If you're Kennesaw State, the mindset, you got to get quick hitters, okay? And this is going to start with Tyler Hooker at the helm, but you need quick hitters along with knocking your free throws down. If you don't have the quick hitter, you have your guys spotted up in the corner so we can kick it to you and knock the threes down. If you're FIU, what you're doing is you're just playing patient. Let Kennesaw State foul you, but don't turn it over, and we're not missing easy baskets. And even if we get second chance points, pull it out and let's run the clock down because that's the most important thing right now.
And Washington makes all three after being fouled in the corner by Blake Furkeron. KSU has not cut it down to less than 7 here in the second half. There's a 7-point deficit at the 18:30 mark.
The Owls are doing a great job with switching those picks. That time it was a mistake. It was a lack of communication. They did a great job up until that point, and they gave up, and then FIU just found the guy rolling hard to the basket.
Osagai with 16 points.
There's no time for you to run plays at this point of the game. You need quick hitters. The time is running out. You have to get quick shots at this point.
Washington. Hooker knocks down the three. Off balance, doesn't matter for Tyler Hooker. 18 points for the preseason All-ASUN pick. And a 6-point lead now for the Panthers.
Kennesaw State, they're doing the right thing. Soft pressure. You're only down by 6 now, so you're in the game. You're in reach.
Crowd back into it for the home standing Owls. 5 to shoot. Osagai, short. And Brewer comes up with an offensive board.
And they're doing in the FIU, they had a second chance point.
Jacob with a lay-in.
Jacobs decided to throw it out, but he got it right back because he had a wide open lane, and he finished it with the right. But you can't have that if you're Kennesaw State if you want to win this game.
Burden off the pick. Turns it over. Andrews to an open Banks, who banks it in. And what was a 6-point lead for FIU has swelled back up to 10 in a timeout taken by Kennesaw State with under 2 minutes to go. And I think we see the difference in two programs right now. A young Kennesaw State team that first-year head coach Amir Abdur-Rahim is trying to build. They've struggled with closing games so far this year, and closing halves more so, I should say. And for FIU, a team that's won 3 in a row, this is a strong program that just won 20 games a season ago. I think that's the difference we're seeing right now in experience.
No, I think you're dead on. I think you're spot on with it. FIU, with the experience, the game comes easier at the end. You have players that's been in this position before, so they're not going to get rattled. Whereas at Kennesaw State, you have a couple players that's new. You try to build that chemistry. But I think I spoke on this last game. The quickest way to build chemistry is to play defense. You build chemistry from your defense, and everything else will come because you can rely on that. And here tonight, Kennesaw State had their spurts where they played excellent defense, but they got to be more consistent throughout the game.
Washington inbounds for Kennesaw State. Hooker, the leading scorer with 18 points. 2 off Andrews for the game high.
It's too much time running off the clock if you're the Owls.
Burden with the 3. And nearly took it away from Jacob.
So if you're the Owls, you don't have the luxury of not playing in the passing lane. With 1 minute left, you got to play in the passing lanes.
And a timeout taken by FIU head coach Jeremy Ballard. So the question is, with 1:11 left, 7-point lead for FIU, 15 on the shot clock, when do you think about fouling? When does that come into play?
If you're Kennesaw State, you think about fouling. If FIU scored this time, and then Kennesaw State comes down, and if they score, if it's under 40 seconds at that point, you got to look to foul. And you got to be very intentional about who you foul. Don't foul. Don't send Andrews to the line. He shoots pretty well from the free throw line. So be very intentional about who you're going to foul. And I'm sure coaches at Kennesaw State, they're talking about this in the timeout right now.
FIU is 11 of 18 in free throw shooting today, but has only taken 1 free throw in the second half.
Yeah.
Panthers are 1 of 1.
That could be a good thing because they may be cold from the free throw line. They haven't been there the entire half. So you got to look for steals, though. You have to be in passing lanes without fouling.
The crowd into the KSU Convocation Center. Brewer, Andrews, 10 on the shot clock. Around Washington, up and under short. Offensive rebound for the Panthers, and Osagai with a monster dunk rattles the rim.
It was one of those, like, look where I fell, look what I found. It ended up in his lap. And when it ends up in his lap, he will finish it for you. And he brought it home strong for the Panthers.
Hooker from the elbow. In and out, demagnetized. Harris gives it over to Lockley as Kennesaw State fights for second chance points.
All right, so 48 seconds left. You're down by 9. Let's say Lockley goes to the free throw line, knocks both of them down. You're down by 7. At this point, you're going to first look to get some steals. Full court press. Look for steals. If they get it past half court, you have to immediately foul. But again, be intentional about who you foul. Get the ball out of the hands of their best shooters.
The next foul will be Kennesaw State's 7th of the half.
Make or miss, Kennesaw State needs to full court press, trap a little bit. If they get it, if they break the half court, that's when you look to trap foul.
Harris nicks the nylon on his second. And back to a 7-point Panther lead. Antonio Spencer switches in for Kennesaw State.
You're in the passing lanes at this point. No fouls. You're in the passing lane. Try to force 10 seconds or a turnover, and they force
Jacob loses the basketball, and Kennesaw State gets the needed TO.
Great setup, great plan. You're going to go trap them in the corner, force them in the corner. They go to the corner, hands, active hands. See if you can get an interception or a turnover. It worked well for Kennesaw State, that possession.
Another look at it. Washington, the freshman, inbounds. Hooker, catch and shoot 3, in and out. Loose ball picked up by Washington. Hands it off in the paint, and Lockley drops it in.
No foul still. You're just going to full court press. If they break it, now you're fouling.
Banks.
Now you're looking to foul.
And there's the foul with 24.2 ticks to go in a 5-point ball game.
I think the foul was on Washington. He did a great job of fouling, but as soon as they get it across half court, you got to look to foul. And they're at the free throw line, like you mentioned. This is the second free throw of the half. So this is going to be major free throws.
And Banks is not the best free throw shooter for FIU. 46% on the season. Some of his biggest here.
Look to box out if you're Kennesaw State.
On the 1-and-1, rolls in.
Ice water, man.
8 points for Isaiah Banks.
Banks go to free throw line. Clutch free throw that one. Let's see if he can make the second one, but that first one was clutch.
On his first trip to the line today, 2 for 2. Huge ones for the Panthers. Through traffic, Bird and short. Jacob with the Panther rebound and the foul.
It's, if you're Burden, I would say that's a great move. By no means am I saying that's not a great move. Great move, but you're down and the seconds are running out. You got to go for the 3 at that point. You need 3-pointers or 2s. You can trade those. They can go to the free throw line and get those 2 points back. You need to look for the 3s at that point.
Jacob off the heel. Hooker over 2. And a timeout on the floor, a 5-point ball game. And I'm well aware of this. Coaches do not like the term moral victories. And one, by no means is this over. KSU, the way it's played defense, has a chance to get the ball back and make a miracle happen here.
Right.
But I think no matter the result, even if KSU comes up short, you got to be happy with what you saw at your ball club today, don't you, Terrence?
You do. I mean, this is something that you show promises in so many different areas. In the area that I would focus on if I was the coaches, the focal point would be how we played in the second half. The first half, we didn't play so well. The second half, we came out, we started well. There were lapses during the second half, but overall, we played well in the second half. So I'm showing in film, I'm showing a lot of the second half plays because they played well in the second half. So this is something that they can build on as we got the guy Scrappy in front of us. And he's just pretty much backing what we're saying.
FIU huddles up. The Panthers will have a little bit of time off after this one before their next game at home against Florida Memorial after final exams. Another ASUN foe in Stetson, Minnesota, the last non-conference competition. And then Conference USA action heats up at home against a pair of Texas schools. For Kennesaw State, this is a tough stretch.
Yeah.
7 teams made the tournament last year. You get Gardner-Webb, a tournament team. You got to go to Murray State, Belmont, at home against Wofford, at Iowa. No rest for the weary in December. Santa wasn't nice with the schedule.
No, it's not, but you can get a lot of experience from this as they're looking for a steal this possession.
Osai guy bounces it over, and a foul with 7 seconds to go.
No, but going back to that schedule, that's not a good schedule, but at the same time it is because you are playing some heavy hitters, and the experience that you are going to gain from that. And I don't believe in moral victories myself, but I would say those will be the moral victories because you're going to have to take something away from that schedule because this is a tough schedule. Did he step over the line?
That's the call, a late violation. KSU's got the ball with 7 seconds to go, down by 5. Burden picks it up. To the corner. Washington's 3. Gets it in!
Now look, quick foul.
A 2-point game with 1.1 to go.
You get
Jacob is fouled.
with 0.5 of a second, but
what a clutch 3 by the freshman, C.J. Washington. And I want to ask you this because you're close. Did you hear contact on that?
Yeah.
I heard a slap. I don't know if we can check out the replay, but I heard a slap. I don't know where that was. We were cut off in vision, but
I felt like he got fouled. He could have been at the free throw line myself. But Jacob just missed a free throw before this. 5-10 seconds left. I don't know if there's enough time for you to take it and heave it. It's going to be interesting to see.
Will we have one of the most incredible comebacks in college basketball this season? 0.5 to go. The second for Trejon Jacob.
I think that helped Kennesaw more than hurt him.
Why do you say that?
Because now you're able to pass the ball down court, get a quick shot just throwing it up, whereas if he would have missed it, the time would have been out as soon as it touched the hand. It would have never gave Kennesaw State player enough time to rebound it and then heave it.
The heave. And that's the ball game as FIU hangs on to defeat Kennesaw State 84-81. And what was a thrilling ball game today, Terrence?
It was. Both teams came in to play. They had their moments. FIU, great team, athleticism. If you're the Owls, you have something to build on, even how you just closed the game. It didn't go in your favor, but that was a good ending.
FIU has now won 4 straight. Kennesaw State falls to a tough 0-8. So for Terrence Hill, I'm Nolan Alexander saying so long from Kennesaw, Georgia, where the final score is FIU 84, KSU 81. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.